Death Trick, Donald Strachey Mysteries, Book 1. Author, Richard Stevenson. Publisher, MLR Press. Narrator, Eric L. Aust. Chapter 14. I exercised, jogged around Lincoln Park for half an hour, showered, dressed, and had a bagel and a cup of plain yogurt while I read the Times-Union. I went over my notes on the case and added to them. I left the apartment at 5 after 8 under a starry autumn sky, aiming to arrive at Harold Snyder's apartment 15 minutes late, for the sake of dramatic tension. Not that his life lacked it. Donnie. She had on a sheer negligee with a leopard spot design and panties to match. In the afternoon, she'd worn a cheap wavy orange wig, but now I witnessed her own hair. Honey-colored and longish, a smooth whirl combed down over one eyebrow. I said, Sandra, would you mind calling me Don? My mother calls me Donnie. As she tapped the top of my nose with her finger and cocked a freshly drawn eyebrow. Maybe I'll just call you Buck. I could be trained to respond to that. I bet you could, Bucky. We were on the couch. A lamp with a 2-watt light bulb burned in the corner. The phonograph was playing the soundtrack from The High and the Mighty. She poured me what she called a martini. It was bright red. She lit a Galoise, and we told each other about ourselves. Sandra described her tragic childhood, which did in fact sound difficult and ugly. 17 years in Adirondacks crossroads called Sneed's Pond, with fundamentalist Baptist parents who kept telling her she was abnormal and not right, and locking her in her room with a Bible, a football, and a photo of John Wayne. Did you play football, Bucky? She examined my thighs and calves. In high school, I said, and off and on in the army. Ooh, which army? Whose side were you on? Ours. Though I once met Jane Fonda, and she said I was making a mistake. Tacky bitch. Where does she get off? History will treat her more kindly than some. Having checked out the shape of my leg, she moved on to my chest. A long, smooth hand sliding up under my turtleneck. She said, Did you see a bridge to Foreign TV the other night? Liv Ullman was too aloof. She's so unwomanly. Sean Connery, though. God, what a man. You could have played him, Bucky. I thought, Christ, Sean Connery must be 60 by now. I said, How old do you think I am, Sandra? 39. Not bad. You only missed by a year. 38? Yeah. You have great nipples for a man. Was she a lesbian, too? I had heard that about some of the famous starlets. She hiked up my shirt and ran her tongue around a nipple. I felt the heart under it begin to pump faster. Sandra, look, if we could just talk about some things for 10 minutes, then I could be a lot more relaxed, and we could really... She came up to my face and gave me a hard look. She said, This is a social visit. You said so. It was your idea, Bucky. You want to fuck or you want to fuck off? What would be, I said. What do you think, sexy? She sighed and moved to the other nipple. I pulled her up, and we sat kissing and feeling and massaging each other's legs and arms and backs and fronts. While the record changed and the soundtrack from An Affair to Remember came on, she got my cock out of my pants and mouthed it for a while. I bent forward over her back. I reached around and got hold of hers. I wondered if Kim Novak was built like this. We ended up on the floor, our garments soon strewn around us, kneeling and facing each other, kissing each other's faces. She massaging my cock and balls, me with a middle finger working into her warm, pre-lubricated areas. Bucky, baby, Bucky, you found my weakness. We stood together, and she led me into the bedroom by the finger. She flung the Chanel bedspread aside, and we fell onto the sheets. I was on top of her, and she said, "Oh, wait, Maurice, the romance of the gay life." She groped my cock with a palmful of Vaseline Intensive Care lotion. I was afraid I was going to come, and in order not to, I had to think about Eric Severide. And then I got some of the stuff on my fingers and lubricated her, which opened at my touch like a baby's mouth. Her legs came up in the air as if sprung into their natural position, and I eased myself into her and felt her working her sphincter like miraculous strong hands. Then we were moving together, she saying, "Ooh, ah," into my ear, and me groaning and sighing and thinking from time to time of Eric Severide. After a long, wonderful time, her face convulsed. Tears ran down her cheeks, and she began to moan. "Oh, Donnie, love me real good, Donnie." And suddenly it hit me. Oh, Christ, I thought. This was no longer Sandra the movie star pumping and humping under me anymore, but this sad, fucked up human being whispering and sighing and weeping into my ear was in fact the hopeless, unloved boy, now the lost, unlovable man, Harold Snyder of Sneed's Pond, New York. I was panicking, having second thoughts, trying to decide whether or not I could go through with it, when Harold began to moan. Oh, yes. I hesitated to stop. Slid it out. "Don't stop, Donnie! Donnie!" He was grabbing wildly, trying to find it. I shook my ass around, evading him. My mouth was at his ear. I said, "First, Harold, you've got to tell me something." Donnie, what's the matter? What did I do? You were making me feel so good, so loved." That was it. I collapsed onto him. I wept into his neck. Great gulping sobs that made the both of us shake and slide and make slapping sounds in each other's sweat. He threw his arms around me and held me tightly for a minute or 5 or 10, until the tension was gone, and we both lay still. We lay like that for a long while, breathing together. I said, "It's okay, Harold. I'm sorry. I had a cramp." He kissed my eyes and stroked my head. "Oh, Donnie, poor Donnie." That was hard again. Modern ideals about the human brain, to the contrary, notwithstanding, I've always thought the damn thing had a life of its own. We began again, taking it slower and easier this time. We'd build, ease off, build again, ease off again, and then right away up and up and up. And in fact, Harold Snyder, Sandra the cleaning lady, the unrisen star and dirty mouthed shrew, turned out to be, in bed, a strong, sweet, knowing, graceful, warm-hearted homosexual man. At 11:15, after a second go-around, Harold smoked a Jello-Ease. I had a black coffee, and then I drove home. Timmy had let himself in and was waiting in my apartment. He looked up from the copy of The Nation he was reading. I said, "How'd the meeting go?" He said, "Talky, but useful." "How'd the immorality go?" "Not talky, not useful." "That's par, but not entirely lacking in redeeming personal value." "Do you want to talk?" "No," I said. "It'll wait." I hung my jacket in the closet. I removed my clothes and tossed them in the corner. A shower. As I went into the bathroom, Timmy got up to pick up my clothes. Not just a sarcastic Jesuit, but a sarcastic Jesuit mother. When I came back, the lights were out, and Timmy was in the bed, his clothes neatly folded beside mine on the big ledge of my bay window. I slipped in beside him, in the hazy blue of the streetlight, and we rolled gently together. I said, "We're very lucky, you and I." "I know," he said. "We are. Let's keep it up." There was an undertone of apprehension in his voice. There needn't have been. He should have known that by then, but he didn't, so I told him. A Gay Mysteries audiobooks. I think it is easy to hate a label, but a face humanizes the word. So this effort is twofold. To offer comfort to those like myself that your world didn't end because you don't fit into the view of acceptable society on both sides. And in hopes of helping those with family that are LGBTQ, that it doesn't mean we are aliens from the child they once knew. Reassure them so they can maybe be supportive at the same time, being true to their values.